Hi, I'm Katie from What Katie Did, and I've got some very exciting news for you today. Not only do we have new wallpaper, but we've also got our new Demi Waspie Corset, which is now in stock. If you've been watching our channel for a while and keeping an eye on What Katie Did, you'll know I've spoken about our Demi Waspie Corset a couple of times before on film. Well, it's really exciting to be able to tell you that the garment is actually here. But the first things first, I hope you're sitting down for this because I've got some rather dramatic news. Now, traditionally corsets have been sized by waist size, and you take your waist measurement and deduct 3 to 4 inches, possibly more, possibly less, to work out your corset size. And any corsets that are sized by dress size, that's an automatic red flag, and it's a total no-no. And if you buy a corset online which is done by dress size, or even bra size, you just completely dismiss it because that's not the way corsets are done. But in this case, for our Demi Waspie, we have actually done it by dress size, and the reason for this is because it's a stretch garment. Now, this is a size 12 Demi Waspie, the size I wear, and when I measure it out and stretch it, without it being stretched, it comes to about 22 inches on the waist, and I can stretch it to 25 inches. But the problem is I can't say it's a 22-inch corset, I can't say it's a 25-inch corset because it does adapt and it fits a variety of waist sizes. The construction of this garment, it has a double layer of power mesh, and then on the waist it has a double layer of elastic, so the waist really doesn't stretch very much at all, whereas the hips and the ribs, they're just a double layer of power mesh, so they stretch a lot more than the waist tape, which means, again, I can't put a definite rib measurement or a definite hip measurement to the garment because it stretches, and it depends on your body shape. For example, here on the size 12, I've measured the hip, around the hip, and it comes to 32.5 inches, but it will actually stretch to bigger than our 37-inch hip, which is our official UK size 12, US size 8. So the most important thing with the Demi Waspie and corset is to size by the waist, because it's very, very, very unlikely that the rib and the hip will be baggy on you because they're already cut very, very small. The only difference with wear is that if you have a more straight up and down figure, the rib and the hip will stretch less. They'll still fit to your body, but they'll stretch less, and you'll get a more dramatic shape. You'll get a less dramatic shape, sorry, than if you've got a bigger rib cage and a smaller waist and a bigger hip in relation to your body. The other thing I'd like to point out with our Demi Waspie is because it's made of stretch power mesh. This is a UK 12, a US 8, and I've mentioned that the waist tape flat measures about 22 inches and it stretches to 25. Well, with bigger sizes, it's going to stretch more because the more elastic you have, there's going to be more stretch. So the bigger sizes come up slightly bigger, and also the smaller sizes, they'll have less power mesh because you've got the satin panels, and then you've got the power mesh panels, and as the power mesh panels get smaller, there'll be less stretch to them. So the size UK 8 and 10, US 4 and 8, 4 and 6, sorry, they will come up smaller than the bigger sizes. This happens with all garments, and it shouldn't affect what size you have to take at all. I'd just like to mention it. And the final thing I need to mention is how you put on this garment, because we don't have a busk in the front, so how do you actually put it on? And the answer is you put it over your head. And we've had a few discussions in our office about how to deal with this, because it's not quite as easy as it sounds. When I was in the factory, I was pulling it on over my head, and it was a real struggle, and I actually had to undo the laces. I had to undo the laces about halfway up to the waist tape to make the laces wide enough for me to actually pull it over my head and get into it. And then I had to do the laces back up myself and spin it around and do it up, and then it was fine. Once I was in it, it's spectacular. It gives an amazingly smooth line, but it's the whole thing of having to unlace your laces, put it over your head, spin it round, do it all up. Now that's going to add, I'm an expert, and it's going to add 5 minutes to my day. If you're new to it, it might add 10 minutes, I don't know. But to make things simpler, we have used absolutely super long laces, and the super long laces allow you to open them wide enough at the back to actually fit it over your head easily. The only issue with this is that you are then left with super long laces at the back. Now, if you're not that fussed, and I'm really not that fussed, I'm just quite happy to tuck the excess under my waspy at the back. But if this does bother you, or you find they're super long, you've got two choices, and one is to cut them a lot shorter like I was originally going to do and lace things up by yourself and spin it around and do all that. Or alternatively, you can, if you put it on over your head and you have the corset opened or the waspy open to the amount you need it to get it over your head comfortably, then you'll be able to see how much excess laces you've got, and you can snip those off. Now, I'm not talking about you lacing yourself in as tight as you can go, making the bow and thinking, oh, that's great, and snipping it off, because then you'll be locked in there forever. So I'm talking about when you've actually taken it off, you can see how much extra lace you've got. And the laces we use are actually synthetic, so if you do have extra spare at the end, you can seal this. You don't need a fancy shoelace binder or anything like that. You can seal it with flame, so you just burn it slightly and that will melt it, and then you squish the ends together, and that gives you a neat end which isn't going to fray and is easy to lace up and does the job fine. But we wanted to give you the option of, you know, we didn't want to make sure the laces were too short, because I know it is frustrating when you're trying to do the bust up, or you're trying to get it over your head and it's just that little bit too short. So we ensured they were super long so you can get into it easily with minimum stress. The inspiration behind this piece is waspy made by Christian Dior in the very late 40s or early 50s, and it's very similar to the one we've made, where it's a bust crease style and you have to pull it over your head, or I guess if you're a Christian Dior model, you have someone help you to lace it up the back. And Christian Dior's version was made from a very heavy lace deck, so it had a teeny tiny amount of stretch to it, probably less stretch to ours. Back in that time, I haven't actually seen his version, but back in that time most of the waist tapes are non-stretch, and I've used a double elastic for ours because I do want it to move with you and I do want you to be comfortable. And I find that the vintage styles which have the non-stretch tape, they do dig in after a while, so we've gone for an elastic tape. And I have actually found a picture of Christian Dior's original waspy here, and they were designed to go under his new look dresses, which had a very nipped-in waist and full hips. So that's what we're trying to emulate here with our new Demi Waspie. And also, this is completely unrelated, but while I was going through my books trying to find the right picture, I found a picture of a little doll that Dior made in 1954, and it was part of a touring exhibition around the UK, and they made her a complete wardrobe, and she is teeny tiny. Let's see if it says how high she is. It doesn't say how tall she is, but she is to perfect scale, and they actually made her lingerie. So she's got her Merry Widow, she's got her girdle, she's got her little bra, and she's got her corselet, all made to doll size, which is fantastic. And what they've also done is they actually made her a pair of fully fashioned stockings, and I don't know how on earth they made it, but it does say that these are the smallest fully fashioned stockings ever made. I hope you enjoy exploring our new Demi Power Mesh Waspie, and that it bridges the gap for you from our normal Power Mesh Waspie and to a full steel boned corset, especially at this time of the year when it is getting warm and you don't necessarily want to be wearing a full steel boned corset. I would like to point out that when we first sampled this in the factory, I thought it was fine, and when I say I think these are fine, that's pretty much as good as it gets. And I was really happy with the Waspie. It surpassed my expectations, and I thought, well, although I wouldn't wear it every day, I'm sure everyone else will be happy with it because it is a really great garment. And it wasn't until we added the second layer of Power Mesh and the second elastic tape, and that really changed everything for me. Now, I wear a corset every day, and I thought it was unlikely that I'd ever be happy with a Power Mesh version. I never wear our Waspie, I never wear our Glamour waist cincher apart from trying it, apart from many years ago before I was wearing a corset every day. and I really did think that I wouldn't be happy or comfortable in a full paramesh garment, but when I tried on the Glamour Waspy, it was really amazing, and I put it on loads of models and other people, and they've all been really excited about it. So if you are seriously into corsetry and you want something more lightweight, or you want something, you know, for lazy days, or perhaps as a sleeping corset, or when you're traveling, I'd thoroughly recommend this one, because it really is surprising, the shape and the support it gives you. If you do have any questions about it or any of our other products, please get in touch and I'll catch up with you soon. So take care.